By Urs announcing to the world he's moving up into open, it most certainly means he's going to be using higher doses. Do you really think that if you move up into open, you're going to then lower your doses and be safer while putting on perhaps 15 or 20 kilograms of muscle? That's 30 to 40 plus pounds. That's the amount of muscle Urs needs to be a legitimate threat at the Olympia. Coach Greg, and big news in the world of classic physique and bodybuilding as Urs Kalecinski, the Miracle Bear, has decided to move up into open. And so you may remember Coach Greg competed against him back in the day. He was 20 pounds under his weight class. He beat Coach Greg. He has superior genetics. He was amazing. And since that time, he struggled to make the weight class. When I met up with him and tested his body fat, he had around 11% body fat and was weighing about 270 pounds. And I was thinking, how on earth can you make classic? What he has to do is dramatically reduce his doses. It basically almost has to stop training. He cuts down, he sucks down into almost nothingness in order to compete in classic. After a while, as a bodybuilder, you want to keep making improvements. And so to stay in classic physique would mean that he has to year after year present the exact same package. He couldn't make it any better. He was maxed by the weight cap and was peeled, and third place was the best that he could get. Seeing as C-Bum had retired, were you thinking, well, it's now his chance? Well, unfortunately, there's a guy by the name of Mike Sommerfeld who almost certainly is going to be the champion for many years to come. I feel like it isn't even close in men's classic physique. I feel like he simply has too wide of the shoulders, too small of the waist, and too much muscle in his quads with perfect balance. He absolutely looks like an open class bodybuilder. And so within the constraints of his weight category, I don't think he or anyone can beat him. And so Urs has decided, enough is enough. I'm taking the year off and I'm next year competing in open. I previously predicted it. I predicted that he couldn't make it into classic physique. I guess I was simply a couple of years off. He wasn't going to hold himself back. And so let's see what various people are saying. I'm going to 100% disagree with this statement.
I think it's the right decision. It's not good for your body to restrict it to, a place where it doesn't want to be.
And so Austrian_Powers has stated this. Do you know what I think is worse? Using more steroids and putting on more size, more growth hormone, more everything in order to move up into open. Cutting down into classic is only dangerous if you're starving yourself and using diuretics to make that weight class. But if you make that weight class by lowering your doses, aka using less steroids, less drugs, it's way safer. And so let me quickly give my own example. I used to compete in bodybuilding. They then added a category called classic physique. And at that time, I had to cut down to 185 pounds. Before that, I was competing at 195 pounds. And so how do you think that is? Do you think it was more dangerous for me to cut down to classic? Well, here's what I did. I stopped using tren. I lowered my doses of everything and was using 1/4 the steroids that I used to compete at 195 versus 185. I know Aldura, he's competing, and he's going to the Olympia in classic physique, doing the dad cycle. Way lower doses. And so for these people, it's much healthier. And so if Urs decided to compete in classic physique, he could have just said, you know what? I'm just going to go on half the doses. How hard is that? When C-Bum competed in classic physique, he didn't have to use tren. He didn't have to use all of those drugs because he was limited by a weight class, except for one time in his life. One time, 3 weeks after the Olympia, he competed as an open class bodybuilder, put on about 8 or 10 pounds. And so do you really think that if Chris Bumstead had moved up into open and continued to stay there, imagine he makes a comeback. I'm announcing to the world, I'm coming back in open. Do you think he's going to be at more harm to his health or less? It's absolutely more, because he will then have to abuse higher doses of steroids in order to put on that muscle. And so by Urs announcing to the world he's moving up into open, it most certainly means he's going to be using higher doses. Do you really think that if you move up into open, you're going to then lower your doses and be safer while putting on perhaps 15 or 20 kilograms of muscle? That's 30 to 40 plus pounds. That's the amount of muscle Urs needs to be a legitimate threat at the Olympia. Remember, in open, he's competing against guys like Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chopin, Samson Doda, or like Nick Walker. Nick Walker's what, 5'7", 285 pounds? Urs is 5'11". He's gonna have to go up to well over 300 pounds in the offseason in order to carry enough muscle to compete and be a top 3 in the open. And so I previously made a video predicting Urs is gonna become probably somewhere in the top 3, probably 3rd. But he's not competing. And so imagine how difficult it's going to be for Urs to get top 3 in open.
Also, now I have big hopes that he's going to level up the competition when it comes to posing.
I mean, do we really care that much about who's the best poser in open? I mean, if that's the case, should Terrence Ruffin and Logan Franklin move up into open so that they have better posers? I mean, is that why we're celebrating Urs moving up into open? Here's my personal opinion. People want to see it. People want to see all bodybuilders put on more size. They don't care about their health. Why would they care? I care. I don't want to see Urs move up into open. I would prefer him staying smaller, using lower doses, and continue to battle for perhaps 3rd place. I don't think he has a chance at 1st, maybe 2nd, but likely 3rd. But it's not my decision, and he's going to do what he wants. Now, in 10 years from now, if he suffers from a heart attack or has something negative going on, then, well, it is what it is. People are going to do what they want. But I'm telling you, despite what anyone is saying, competing in classic isn't more dangerous than competing in open. Competing in open, it's open for everything. All the drugs, as much size as humanly possible, that's what they're going for. And so once you make the switch from classic into open and you have to put on more size, it ain't healthier, that's for certain.
This is super cool because no classic physique competitor who has ever been at this level has switched to open.
But I feel like C-Bum did. Like he's saying no one at this level has ever switched to open, but yet C-Bum, the champion, did. Now, mind you, he didn't make it permanent. It was temporary. But we did get to see what that is like. And he's not the first and only. There are various other competitors who have done so. I don't have their names memorized. I suck with names. But there are, in fact, several bodybuilders who have made the switch from classic into open.
So why is somebody who's so good in the classic division moving over to open bodybuilding? Well, simply put, he's just too big.
And so why would he switch? Well, he writes, frankly speaking, I'm now 17 kilograms above my weight limit for classic, and he's almost stage ready. And so 17 kilograms is close to 40 pounds over the weight class. He can't just lose 40 pounds of water and or fat. And so a lot of that is going to be muscle. And so he's thinking, well, what is the point? I'm literally going to have to go to the gym and do cardio and lower my doses just to compete in classic and not win. And so why not just move into open? And so here's the thing. With bodybuilding, it has to be fun. Urs is making plenty of money from sponsorships, from being a social media superstar. And so the amount of money he's going to win by getting 3rd in classic physique, what is it, $25,000? That's useless to him. Well, it's not nothing, but it's next to nothing compared to the money he's making from doing various forms of social media promotions and so on. And so they're not competing for paychecks. They're competing for the fun and the love of the sport. And when the sport is fun, it's when you're putting on size, you're making improvements. Competing at the same weight, the same look, year after year after year and not winning, it loses its luster. The first couple times, it's amazing. But after that, the dopamine, it goes down each and every year. And so if Urs goes from competing last year at perhaps 227 pounds, and the next time he competes, he's 257 pounds, you can see it's going to be a lot of fun. He gets to display his new and improved physique. He put on 30 pounds of muscle. It's remarkable. And so when he gets up on stage with all that new size, he's going to be someone everyone's talking about. And even if he doesn't make it in the top 3 in men's open bodybuilding, they actually pay a lot more. And so even if he places 5th, 6th, 7th, he'll likely earn more money in open bodybuilding than he win in classic physique. Now, I don't believe that he's switching over to make more money. I do personally believe it's for the enjoyment of the sport. The fact that he likes training harder than last time. He likes putting on muscle, and that's why he's doing it. I certainly wish he can do it while staying healthy. I hope he's getting his blood work taken. Remember, if you do want your blood work to be taken, you can go to AlgoRx to ensure that you're doing it healthy. Doctors can prescribe you medications. Do you need Cialis or Viagra? Or perhaps you have high blood pressure, you need Talmosartan. Or are your testosterone levels too low and you need enclomiphene? Whatever you need, click the link in the description, get your blood work done. You can have consultations with their doctors. Highly recommended. I am, in fact, a part owner. Code Greg, 10% off.
Right now, he is 17 kilograms or 37 freedom units above his stage weight. Meanwhile, he says he's almost stage ready.
I mean, it literally says he has to lose 15 kilograms of muscle in order to make the weight class. And so he must have known that this was going to happen, but he didn't want to announce it. Like, just think of it. We've seen him posing with the Trend twins. He's weighing like 270 pounds and he rolls up the pants, show the legs. And you see striation after striation and bro's 270 pounds. And so I'm thinking he planned it. Like, you don't accidentally go 15 kilograms, that's 33 pounds of muscle above your weight limit without even trying. You're certainly using certain said products, I don't know, testosterone, whatever, to help you put on that muscle. I highly doubt he was in his off season and using just Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum and magically put on 33 pounds of muscle. I mean, the chances of that, they're literally less than 1 in a million. It's very unlikely that that occurred. But hey, you never know. Perhaps he just went on a cycle and then hopped off. He's 100% natural now and kept all his gains from a polymorphism and he's continuing to put on muscle. You never know. Too soon, guys. Imagine being so large that you physically cannot stay in classic without losing muscle. Yeah, basically every single open bodybuilder, that's exactly what's happening. There's too much muscle on their frames in order to make it to classic. Ask any of them. You think Samson Dota can compete in classic? None of these guys can. And so what happens is the best physiques with the best genetics in the world, guys like Urs. Urs was winning bodybuilding competitions as a teenager. He looked absolutely incredible. And so when you have those kind of genetics, the classic physique weight limits to you are very difficult to meet. For most people, they'll never go up that high. But for the elite of the elite, the 1 in 100 million guys, those limits are limiting, if that makes any sense. Bro, I've been dying to see him in open. IMO, he made a mistake dropping classic. This year, he could have won it. Seeing Mike, he's also so big, yet he doesn't seem to consider changing to open. That's a very interesting comment about Mike Sommerfeld. In my opinion, Mike Sommerfeld, he doesn't look classic. He looks open. He looks perfect for open. He has the most ridiculous of physique, but yet he can still make the weight class. And so why would he switch into open? He hasn't even won the Olympia yet. Mike Sommerfeld, the clear front runner, the favorite to win the classic physique title and over $100,000, I certainly think that he would want to win the competition first before ever having a thought of moving into open. Now, if he were to move into open, what would he have to compete against? He would have to compete against Hadi Chopin, Derek Lunsford, and Samson Dota, as well as Nick Walker. Do you really think that Mike is ready for that right now? I mean, in the future, maybe, but can't we at least let him win classic physique first? Oh, and what about his health? If he wants to truly compete against the super heavyweights of the world, he's probably going to have to put on another 10, maybe even 20 pounds of muscle to really cement himself as a favorite in open. And so why would he do that when he can dominate classic physique without using super high doses of performance-enhancing drugs? Remember, classic physique weight class is limiting his size. If he goes into open, he's going to have to get a lot bigger. And to get a lot bigger, he's going to have to do a lot more drugs. That is how it works. And so I personally think that Mike the Badass should stay in classic physique. until at some point they say, look, Mike, you don't represent classic physique anymore. You're just too dominant as a bodybuilder. And so we're changing the guidelines for classic physique, and we're going for more of a guy like One Punch Man as our new champion, or perhaps Logan Franklin, or perhaps Terrence Ruffin, somebody that looks truly remarkable but isn't quite a bodybuilder and represents classic physique. I don't know if this will ever happen. My personal opinion is classic physique and bodybuilding are the exact same thing, only with a weight cap. That is all. There is no difference whatsoever. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And if you're interested in momentous clothing, please click the link in the description. Coaching plans by myself and my team. Click the link, code Greg for 15% off on supplements, cookbooks, the Circle Diet Book, and of course, the delicious protein bars. Absolutely the softest ones ever. The best tasting. Tastes like a Twix bar. If you're looking for that, remember code CICO, capital CICO, and then you just add something else in your cart like creatine, you get it 50% off. And so if you're interested, head to the website right now. They are amazing. And if you don't like them, if they're not as good as the Anabar, for example, or well, frankly, if they're not the best bar you've ever tried, you just get your money back and a $20 gift card. And so you have nothing to lose. I'm telling you, this is the best ones ever. If you don't believe it, buy it and get your money back and a $20 gift card. And until next time, I am out.